I'm back. I want to die. So I'm mostly recovered from being sick for the 3rd time since I started this game. For the first time, it wasn't from a convention. The first 2 times I went to a convention and came back sick, and like, this was predictable. Although I'd been lucky so far and had not been sick from the last couple of conventions beforehand. But here is just housemates got me sick. They just got sick, and then I couldn't avoid it, and then I got sick, and I'm like, damn it. It's hard to juggle everything sometimes.
All right, I'm taking us in. Let's hope we can find the big guy.
Here we go. We're gonna save our friend. He's been only being horribly tortured for like,
a day? Weeks? Months? I don't know, passage of time. Maybe this whole game takes place during a day? That's becoming increasingly improbable just because of how long the playthrough is getting.
the eye.
Are we in the same place as before? From Eustachius to Athena. Dearest Athena, I don't know if you will see this. You have become even more distant from the affairs of New Jerusalem than I have. Blah, blah, blah. Misspeaking to you and Cornelius, and I fear that some of your estrangement is my own fault. I know things are not as you had wished them to be, and the city is drifting away from that bold vision you established. This is not because of your leadership or a lack thereof. You did not fail. I did. I know I've said it before, but the new Alexandria disaster was my fault. I'm the one who took the initiative, and I'm the one who made the mistake. Yes, there should have been procedures in place, but it was my role to create such procedures, Athena, not yours. I wish I had listened to Byron when he said we have to establish another settlement immediately. Learn from the pain. Don't let it fester. He was right. That's where the rot set in. And I'm sorry. With love, Eustachius. Athena. From the Machines. From the author's note to Athena Reborn, a novel. If my work has meant something to you, if Athena had any kind of impact on you, if some story in Wonder Tales from the Periphery moved you or made you think, then there was something about myself that I need to share with you. It's the only autobiographical fact that I have any interest in sharing. The only thing about me that matters to you outside my work. Every breath that I take, and so every story that I write, is only possible because of technology. There are no natural remedies, no spiritual alternatives for what I was born with. My existence is wholly contingent upon a level of technological sophistication that was heretofore unimaginable, and which will in many ways define the coming era. When you long for a return to simpler times, you wish for a world in which I could not exist. If you were looking for answers, consider the fact that I was granted the blessing of this technology despite being born into poverty and my writing never having been particularly lucrative. The civilizational structures I live within are arranged in such a way that this technology would be deployed to save my life. And are these structures not also, at the end of the day, a kind of machine? What is the state? What is civilization, if not a machine? Think about what it means. What this is. Is it systemic compassion? Is it liberation from nature? Is it equality or opportunity? Whatever your belief system, think hard about what it means that I am alive because of these machines, and I have created something that matters to you. Thank you for reading. Clockwork, from Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton. All the towering materialism which dominates the modern mind rests ultimately upon one assumption. A false assumption. It is supposed that a thing goes on repeating itself, that if a thing goes on repeating itself, it is probably dead. A piece of clockwork. People feel that if the universe was personal, it would vary. If the sun were alive, it would dance. This is a fallacy even in relation to known fact, for the variation in human affairs is generally brought into them, not by life, but by death. By the dying down or breaking off of their strength or desire, a man varies his movements because of some slight element of failure or fatigue. But perhaps God is strong enough to exult in monotony. It is possible that God says every morning, "Do it again," to the sun, and every evening, "Do it again," to the moon. It may not be automatic necessity that makes all daisies alike. It may be that God makes every daisy separately, but has never got tired of making them. It may be that he has the eternal appetite of infancy, for we have sinned and grown old, and our Father is younger than we. It's strange. This idea is delightful, but it's also completely and obviously untrue. That's one of the many reasons Chesterton's worth reading. He's wrong about a lot of things, but he's wrong about them in an interesting way. Such a shame, though. He seems to want to restore the magic of the world, but he can only re-enchant the surface. Whereas the true magic, the perfect beauty that feels like revelation, is found underneath, in what he dismisses as clockwork. I love the discussions here. It's fun to listen to. Cause it starts at a cool foundation of just like, that's a cool response to the world, saying like, what if all the monotonous things are actually things that God finds beautiful and endlessly enamoring, and that's why they're so monotonous and repetitive? And it's like, he just infinitely, this is infinitely good, it's an active choice to keep it that way, not just a thing that was left or something. But at the same time, you're talking about like incredibly complicated things that are actually really interesting if you look at them closer. So they aren't mundane the way that he's spelling them out to be honest. Like the moon is like monotonous and boring and there's nothing going on there. Like, it's the moon. Hypatia's Journal, 10. Day 680. New Jerusalem. That's the name we picked. Am I sad that my suggestion didn't win? Maybe a little. But it is a good name. A fitting name. A name that we can be proud of. With it comes a new kind of optimism. Everyone is thinking of the future once more. I, for one, am glad that we have recovered our equilibrium, our determination. Athena and Cornelius are certainly bustling with plans and bright visions of the future, and when they tell us of these dreams of theirs, it's hard not to be drawn in by the pretty pictures they paint. Speaking of which, I'm becoming more and more fascinated with ancient human art. Thinking about our own role in taking the next step in that long history. Citizens of Gehenna found meaning in art, and they were imprisoned. A free people should be able to accomplish so much more. That one sounded familiar, like I'd maybe read it before, but the other ones didn't. But we've been going for long enough that maybe I could be losing track, but I do feel like something as like that discussion would have sparked memory. I don't think I would have forgotten about that. It'd be extremely funny though if I just sat here and recreated the entire thought process and so on. And just did the same rant again. It happens. Longtime fans will literally sometimes be like, oh my god, he's doing this story again. I'm like, damn man, calm down. Sometimes you just hear someone tell the same story twice on a channel where they have thousands of videos. Most people haven't heard it before, that's how it works. Every now and then, on a regular basis, people are like, finally, I found your other channel. I'm like, bro, I've announced it so many times, and it's listed right there. How did you never find it before? It's like, it's really hard to communicate information to people ever. Everyone gets a fragmented version of the experience. Are people supposed to be talking? Well, I guess we're going this way then.
Yay! I found another elevator. My favorite.
They're dangerous. They'll get you. The megastructure.
Once again, I have no idea where I am. No sign of Prometheus so far. Hope you're doing better, 1K.
I take it we've largely abandoned... Oop. Hello.
I know I've said this before, but look at the size of this. How can all of this be one machine?
This is what you get when one machine builds a bigger machine, which builds an even bigger machine.
That's our whole history, isn't it? The whole history of humankind. And it's not just machines. It's science, it's literature. Knowledge builds on knowledge.
I think part of what they're going for here is by having such an astonishing megastructure that has built in so little time. Like, at the very least, it should be younger than New Jerusalem. Because I think I was saying earlier, I think we've long since abandoned the idea that there's like aliens, or the idea that there's like an outside rival robot settlement from a different country or something that has a different origin point. Is one of my theories about why there might be a super crazy sci-fi technology, even though it's a goofy concept to introduce, because it's not only is this actually a sci-fi story, but also like we are robots, but like something that's more far along than our robot society. Did I just knock myself out of here? There we go. One of my early theories, I'll remind you, was that I was thinking that since Elohim got us trapped in that simulation for so long, it could have been that there was other countries that had their own AI generating and robot generating projects. They had similar attempts, maybe not even robots, but just some kind of way of recreating life that represents humanity after humanity is gone, be they some kind of strange clone or some other form of like mutant or other form of AI or any other kind of form it could have taken. A fucking nanomachine cloud that has human consciousness, who knows? If it went through its process of iteration and so on and then was finished and wasn't held hostage by a self-aware AI that didn't want to die, like Elohim, it could have been around a long time ago and had a ton of time to develop, which is in some ways the most believable explanation for a place like this. But at this point we've largely moved on to the idea that it's probably specifically we're pretty sure it's Athena, because we keep getting visions of Athena and Cornelius, and we've gotten no additional outside information, and we're pretty far along in the game at this point, unless there's a big twist coming. It seems like that's just what this is this is what Athena and Cornelius did. So, since we've abandoned that, then yes, like this is like, they must have created technology that itself creates technology, and it like is able to move exponentially without physical labor from them specifically, because they were just 3 people. We have not uncovered a labor force of additional sentient AIs or any other kind of labor force that isn't just like machines themselves, which I guess, you know, the line there is whatever, I guess. But it's so staggeringly huge that you would then question, like, well, damn, man, look at all this. Maybe we should be worried about what happens if robots try to build and expand the way humans did. Because look how quickly they created something that that feels beyond what humanity made, at least in our modern life. Like, this is like comically like out there. Like, and there's some pretty wild human structures that you're not used to seeing, but this seems like a lot. Maybe we are dangers of the world. What was Athena's end goal? What was her stopping point, and so on? How far was she gonna keep going? I don't like the way that these walls look. My eyes. Ah. Okay, there we go. Oh, hi. So, what's up, dude?
Be careful, 1K. We don't know what's down there.
I have an idea. So, answers? Remove the Prometheus chain pins. So he's chained up, and I can't... We need to detach the pins. The lever just yanks on it, and that seems painful and dangerous. Oh, and there's a whole ass world out there. Okay. That was quite the reveal. Just turn the corner and... Or walk out of the elevator, and that's Prometheus. And he's big. Left or right, maybe? More of these. Can I walk on the wall? I can. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm up here now. Hi. Hello. Oh, we're going this way. Okay. I didn't start this off even knowing where my destination was gonna be. Hello. I'm up here now. Uh-huh. Why are there... What? Why is there so much life down here? Not just plants, but there's just like creatures. There's a whole ecosystem down here. It's not... Oh, it looks like that one's deletable when I get there or something. Or maybe not. No. I was wondering why it looked the way it did. Yep. This is big, but I am strong. Whoa. I wonder how much you can look at this whole game as sort of like a version of like a long-form meditation on the idea of forgiving Prometheus for his sins. Or questioning whether they ever were sins to begin with. Or if he was just purely brave to defy the will of the gods, which honestly frequently the case. The gods ain't shit. Yeah, you heard me. Neat. Oh, it's definitely... Oh, it's clipping through itself like crazy. Whoa, that's not... Oh yeah, that's not... Okay, well, if you're just gonna cheat... Part of the appeal of these kinds of devices is watching all the interlocking pieces interact, but... Those three rings are just clipping through each other really severely the entire time. Everywhere they... Oh god, yeah, that doesn't stand up to scrutiny. Don't look at that one directly. Whoops.
I've been a bad boy.
No. I think this one might be Alt Trominos. No chambers. Okay. Intuitively, it feels wrong to make the big shape point away. It's almost always a bad move at that point, but it was literally all that was happening there. Was just the trick of make that point away and then loop the other thing back. Because that first L was so obviously not the right piece, and there was only two pieces. Call me Sherlock, but I think this shit's solved. This is neat. It's neat, but also this is presumably just metaphorical. By which I mean, surely the statue is not Prometheus. It's a statue. Even the Prometheus we met was a hologram, like all the other holograms. It'd be very confusing if us freeing the statue freed him. If not just the mechanisms behind the thing freeing something else. Because it's a statue. Statues don't move. He don't even have any joints. He's just a statue. He's not an action figure. There's one way up there. Maybe we'll get to you last. Be a little cool about that one. But statues isn't people. Not unless they're actually magic, which... Well, that would be one way to take the game, I guess. Okay. I would have felt so cool if I just sprinted at it and solved it on the fly. No. Yakut, I think? It's not a surprise reveal of the guy that we're trying to save, is it? Where is this?
I don't think you can get up here, 1K. Guess I'll have to do a puzzle after all. It can't be that hard, right? It's not like everyone is depending on me.
You could also just help me up. What do you... I pull whole hooks out of that thing. You can't help me up here? I'm worried. I don't want you to solve... I don't want Yakut to solve a puzzle. I like him. And last person I let solve puzzles died.
But if this has to connect over here, then... Wait. If I do this, and then that... What?
He's stuck as hell. Maybe he'll get it eventually.
I did it! Wow!
Oh.
I feel really smart. Also, never doing that again.
Why? It wasn't even hard. It took you like 30 seconds, bro. Oh, down here. This is safe. Oh, hello. I'm on the ceiling. This makes me want to play Prey 2006. I liked that game. It was also during the era of video games, though, where I was in high school, so I didn't have that much money, and I would play video game demos over and over again because back then the spectacle really like got me. Like nowadays, I think it's not unreasonable to say that I'm kind of jaded about spectacle in video games. I'm not. Ah! Hi. Okay, that startled me a little bit. It's not like I sit here being actively immune to or like reviling it or anything. I was like, whoa, cool statue when we walked in. Like that was a cool reveal. But it's about having like significant visual moments that have like a design to them as opposed to pure raw visuals. And like I'm less and less impressed by the whole like, what was it, Uncharted 2 opening style stuff. Like here's this like very cinematic gaming chunk where you basically don't do anything in the actual video game and just have to watch it happen, but you're like lightly interacting and that makes you feel so immersed, and I'm often less and less interested in that kind of stuff. But back then I played the demo for Prey and I played the demo for BioShock so many times, and those were some good demos. Those demos were better than the games that they were attached to. Which is kind of saying something for BioShock, because the BioShock 1 is pretty alright. I know, controversial take. BioShock 1's pretty good. It's pretty alright. It's an enjoyable loop. You can talk about how it's not necessarily that much of an immersive sim, and it's also not necessarily that much of an RPG. But it's got a good... It's got a good narrative gameplay vibe, good cool atmosphere. Even if the atmosphere's also kind of got that Dead Space thing going on where it's a little so overblown that you're like, has anyone live here? What the fuck's happening? It's got some goofy elements. And then in BioShock Infinite it was, But Prey similarly has a pretty wild opening. It's got the odd ballsy move of having you walk in, having you look at a working mirror at the beginning of the game, which is a bit of a shock. Like the game was just showing off a lot, but you start off in a bathroom looking at your own reflection in the mirror, and that mirror still works outside of that cutscene, which is rare to this day. And then you and the other Native Americans that are on this reserve get kidnapped by aliens, because that's the kind of game that game's like. And it's just this like upsetting atmospheric thing where you're in this strange hostile environment, and people that you were set up to care about are now being like violently murdered, and there's portals and you can walk on walls and you're like, what the fuck? And it was before Portal came out, and before games like, you know, almost any game I've seen that let you like walk on walls seamlessly, especially in first person. They weren't a huge deal. It was literally just like certain ramps that like let you walk up them essentially. You didn't like free form run up walls, but at the time, definitely left a bit of an impact where I'm like, how is this happening? Particularly, I kind of always just remembered as like, it made me feel ill. Like, it would, the novelty never quite wore off because it was just interesting that like the game was creating a sensation that made me feel like unwell in the moment. That disorientation. Not a game to massively hype up. Like I said, to some extent the demo is kind of cooler than they had the experience of fully playing the game. It does some weird stuff with the love interest, and its way of handling death was controversial, in that you enter a weird mini-game realm to fight your way back and then kind of just keep going, which kind of means you never actually die, ever. There was a few games that did that back then, like Too Human was a game that every time you died, you watched a cutscene of the Valkyries bringing you back to life, and then you just came back to life in the same spot, which also kind of was a weird thing to include because it also kind of meant that you didn't have consequences for dying. I'm just rambling about that now, apparently. I'm very on topic today. Admittedly, we are doing this. Can't walk on this, but I can walk on this. Okay, so this is the so only certain buildings you can okay, oh god. There's some kind of rules here. Blah, 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 blah. I don't really get how this one fits together. You can't like climb on top of it. I don't think my goal is up here. Also, I can't walk on this wall. I don't... So my goal is to get up there somehow. What do I do there? So only one of the pieces I'm holding is green right now. And I'm wondering what they want from me. Am I missing, like, some logic here? Just don't... You. Okay. That's... Yeah, you are the other piece that does have a... It's sticking out there. But if I do this, I can't walk on you? Okay, well that attaches to at the end. Okay. Got it. Was not... That was a weird one to parse. Okay. Trying to figure out how things fit and where and whence. Blah blah blah. Just the fact that only certain items let you change what dimension you were going, like what axis you were traveling on, and then only one of them let you walk on it. Which I guess simplicity's sake would demand you just assume the one you walk on is the one at the end, because that's when you go up a wall, I guess. So I guess that would mean you want to save that one at the end. Now I know, just in time for it to never matter again. Unless, well, maybe they'll do it again. Like now. Just kidding, I solved it instantly. Which one of you's? There we go. One of you's the floor. Would you look at all this beautiful 2006 style color contrast? They got the oranges, they got the blues. You never believe what they got coming next. Chromatic aberration. Welcome to video games from half my life ago. Well, that's the big one. Ooh. Ooh. This one's climactic.
Is he gonna be okay?
All the way back. Alright, big guy. Revelations time? Or are you gonna break? I'm not sure what to expect here. Oh, he broke as fuck. I killed him. He's a ghost.
I thank you, Son of Man, for breaking my chains. Too long has the flame been hidden by fear and mystery. It is time to put away these childish things and for you to know the truth of the Alpha and the Omega, of the beginning and the end. I will send you visions of the truth. But remember that prophecies are a heavy burden.
New Jerusalem sounds like such a beautiful place. So, how did you decide to leave? I know what we're trying to accomplish here, and I believe in it. But for you, New Jerusalem was home. What changed that?
It took me a long time to realize that something was wrong. Oh, I'd noticed that something was off, that something had changed since the early days, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. So I ignored it. And then one day I woke up to realize I was no longer Athena. Instead, I had been transformed into the Founder, a remote figure of legend, mythologized in my own time.
But if it bothered you, couldn't you just talk to them? If you share the truth with someone, they should change their mind, shouldn't they?
Oh, I wished it worked that way, Miranda, I really do, but I barely knew the last generations. In the beginning, I was there for every birth. I explained our history, talked about our future, but at some point, I got so busy building that future that I lost touch. They thought of me as a remote figure because that's what I was.
But can you change that?
I tried, but they already saw me as the Founder. The myth was too powerful, and it was already taking on a life of its own. I'd set a goal of 1,000 citizens. The number was arbitrary, just a nice round number, nothing more. But just like I became the Founder, it became the goal, another part of the myth. And maybe that could have been all right. Myths are a part of who we are, but something else crept in. The old human self-hatred.
So why didn't you just tell them to change? To go a different way? They would have listened to you.
No, they would have obeyed me, like my siblings in the simulation had obeyed. And that's when I realized I had to leave.
We can show them the future, Miranda, but we can't force them to accept it.
The self-hatred crept in.
I have it. After all this time, I have it. I finally have it. The mechanics of the cosmos, from quarks to galactic filaments, everything that makes the world what it is, makes us who we are, in a single equation. The key to understanding the machine that is the universe, and to controlling it. A theory of everything, and she was right. The language of creation is a melody, and it's beautiful. Every future is possible now. Every future, except one with Miranda in it. I can do anything, except bring her back. Or unbreak Cornelius's heart.
Act 4, Gates of Horn and Ivory.
Byron was right. The Founder was always a fiction. She's just a person.
A theory of everything. She solved it. She solved the last puzzle.
You need to get out of there. We'll talk about this later.
I love them having such different conclusions there. One of them's like, she did it. She solved it. She did it. She's a genius. She solved the universe. Like this man, like only, like it's more myth making essentially at the same time. As another one's like, wow, yeah, she just was a person, just like us. She's just the first one, and that's it. It goes in both directions simultaneously, both extremes. It's part of the significance of all these different people having massively different ages. Like one of the people we were with at the beginning did know Athena.
All this time, we thought we were honoring Athena, but all we did was betray everything she believed in. She must have been so lonely. We might as well have exiled her. Maybe that's what all this is about. The puzzles, the towers, the entities. It's a test. A way for us to prove that we're worthy of her legacy.
It might not be on that level, but maybe. It's in a way she's putting people through a version of what she went through.
It all makes sense. Anti-gravity, matter synthesis, teleportation. It's not just one new technology. It's control over physics. Manipulating the base layer of reality itself. Rearranging the building blocks of the universe. If we can gain control of the megastructure, we can do anything we want. I'm not even talking about our energy problem. We can build anything we want. We can go anywhere we want. It's all up to us.
That's what Athena wanted for us. To give us a chance to be who we want to be.
They're being drawn in very different extreme directions, and the voice of reason character isn't really saying, whoa. There's been some weird things happening visually. Our voice of reason hasn't really been speaking up, maybe because he's just been stuck back on the VTOL the whole time.
Is everyone okay?
All good. I'm taking us back now.
That's a relief. Meanwhile, there's been a development. You'll see when you land. How are things on your end?
The energy fluctuations seem to be dying down. Looks like the system is coming out of lockdown.
Good. Let's hope we don't regret this.
But we never saved our guy.
Energy clouds just fly about? That seems terribly dangerous.
We haven't had any problems so far.
Except for losing one of the first companions, of course. No, I don't blame you, Al. I know what he's like. And I'm the one who agreed to all this in the first place. That's why I had to see it for myself. It is dreadfully imposing, though, isn't it? Hard to believe the founder would build something so sinister.
The mayor's here?
Well, this should be interesting.
I was wondering, like, when we were gonna get a new character. We lost someone, so I thought they'd replace them with someone. Although when we hit the halfway point, I kind of thought they might send us with a new party in response to how things had gone before. There's just a whole second vehicle here now. We never did save the guy. Definitely felt like that was going to be our goal. Like halfway through we lose him, and then when we go back in, it's like, here's our mission to find him. But not only did we not find anything about him, but we're not even commenting on the fact that we haven't yet, when that should be what everyone's really torn up about right now, I figure. Now we're 75% done with the main story stuff, at least. There's some kind of Golden Gates thing that'll finally happen.
Ah, 1K, welcome back. I'm sure you're surprised by my presence here. Don't worry, neither I nor my advisors will be getting in your way. But I've decided that I need to see this place for myself. These visions sent to you by the entity that calls itself Prometheus are deeply concerning, of course, but we cannot take them at face value. In fact, it's crucial that we do not do so. We cannot simply abandon all that we believe because of a dream, no matter how vivid.
But...
No. If the Founder really built all this, then it must have a purpose. It must be a test, designed to remind us of the trials that created us. But what is she trying to tell us? What are we being tested for? I believe that Byron's fate shows us the dangers of temptation. As Elohim attempted to deceive Athena in the simulation, commanding her not to ascend, so Prometheus is deceiving us with his visions.
I'm not sure I agree with your interpretation, Mayor.
Of course. It's only natural, given what you've experienced. And perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps everything we believe about the Founder is indeed a lie. But let's not be quite so pessimistic just because of a dream, shall we? After all, can it really be a coincidence that you came along on this mission? It seems to me that you have been chosen. You are the fulfillment of the goal. Don't forget that.
Or I was just chosen once the goal was completed to then show them finally that this is the error of their ways. Like, okay, you've committed to the 1,000 people. Now that you finished that, here's why you need to stop. Like, you can't, by stop I mean don't stop. Like, you can't just be like, well, we accomplished that goal, I guess society's over. Well, it's time to go back in. Also, it's not one dream, it's several dreams. West 1, West 2, West 3, in any order, whoa. Travel to West 1. A river, Western Delta, a river valley gradually drowned by the encroaching sea. The brackish water is a unique ecosystem with many endemic species. There's several visions.
System looking, Melville. Any obvious changes?
Several documents.
It's still a mess, but things are clearing up. I can access some of the subroutines that I was locked out of before. Nothing is obviously malfunctioning, I think.
Does it still accord special significance to 1K?
Yes, it recognizes 1K as a user. I'm just hacking things.
As I suspected, the Founder sees you, 1K.
Now he's here to tell me I'm on a hero's journey and whatnot. You're a very special and important boy. Oh, this place is brown. This place is very brown. Yeah. Crier. Oh, people are coming here. Did they come here with the mayor, I guess? Where'd they all come from?
What can I do for you, 1K?
Do you think the goal is a myth?
As a journalist, I think the line between speculation and disinformation is too thin for me to engage in guessing games.
What are your thoughts on the theory of everything?
It's a complex issue, and I think it should be left to experts.
Tell me about yourself.
I believe that journalism serves an important function in our society, and I'm dedicated to reporting the truth with accountability and responsibility.
What does responsibility mean in the context of your work?
It means understanding that I can't just publish things without considering their impact. Serious disruptions to the social fabric of New Jerusalem could endanger lives. That's not journalism anymore.
That's all.
Welcome back, 1K.
Do you think the goal is a myth?
Myths are stronger than goals. There's always some truth in myths.
What's your vision of our future?
More being who we are. Less fretting over what we're not.
What are your thoughts on the theory of everything?
I want to see what's inside the box.
What do you make of the island?
I'm still trying to figure out how to look at it and see what's really there. Maybe I should try standing on my head.
What are you really like as a person under all the language games?
Exactly the way you see me. Or totally different.
Green?
Possibly both.
That's all. Maybe I should try standing on my head. Nope. With your feet on the air and your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it. Yeah. Your head will collapse. There's nothing in it. And you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Way out in the water, singing, swimming. Where is my mind? I can jump on this thingy. I can jump over this thingy. Okay. Whoop. Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. Ha. So I take it that this is basically a platform. Fuck. Do better. It's basically like a box that pushes a button. I mean, ultimately, it looks like the new mechanic, or at least this new mechanic in this particular room, which might be this chapter's new mechanic, is that these robots fly around when they're powered. So he needs to receive, and I guess he's red because he needs a red beam. I guess is probably the how you know to connect that guy to that guy. But he can press this thing apparently, which means this door is open. What's going on right there? What's going on there? What's that mean? What's that do? Step on it. No? Click on it? Help, 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 help. So there's a white thing on the ground. And it goes here. Leading him to the button to press the button. You can see it going inside the button, so that's how you know it's going to go to the button. But this, I think, is different. I think this is a track, and I think this is a wire to say that this button does that. But I don't get it. So there's no thingies on this side of the room. So the blue beam can connect over the wall over there, blah 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 blah. Sure. Oh. This thing is being alternated by that. This is open normally. Which gives me incentive to make that thing move on. But then I need the blue beam. So I actually want it to stay over there. So I can do this. Okay. I had basically already solved the puzzle. I just didn't realize what was happening. This thing this is normally active. It becomes deactivated when the store goes down. So when it's over there, the blue beam is over there we go. Kind of simple, but that makes it make more sense that it was the first puzzle compared to how confused I was.
I know you're all thinking about the goal and the theory of everything. Is the past what we thought it was? Is the future what we want it to be? But the only thing that's real at the end of the day is the present. And right now, what matters is that our friend is lost and needs our help.
There's gonna be a present?